Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Stamping A to Z. We're an hour earlier than usual. I'm sorry to change up the times. Hopefully you saw my post and hopefully you can still join. If not, there's the replay both on my sorry, it just cut out there. I don't know what's going on. Both on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel, you can catch the replay. So if you've missed me, then you can always catch that replay. I'm here early because I have an appointment I have to run to. So I decided rather than canceling it, I would just come on a bit early and do it. So it's July. Our special for July is bonus days, and that means for every 60, I don't know what's going on. My Wi-Fi's cutting in and out. It's never done this before. Well, hopefully it will be okay. I just keep seeing the little spinny and the reconnect, so we'll see what this turns out to be. Yeah, so bonus days, when you spend $60, you get a $6 coupon to spend in August. So you can collect all through July. So for every 60, so if you spend 120, you'll get 12. I don't know why it's doing this. All right, well, we'll try. I'm going to turn around and turn the camera around and get crafting, and hopefully, fingers crossed that this doesn't totally cut out. All right, let's get you out of here, and we will flip the camera. I don't know what's all twisted here. Okay, let's see if we can pull it up. Actually, I'm going to pull it up on my computer time, and with the way the internet is going, we'll just go straight to the computer and see if we can see what's happening. Hopefully you guys are having a good summer so far. If you're watching, please say hi. Let me know you're watching, where you're watching from. If you're watching the replay, it's all good to hear. Okay. Looks like I can see everything, so hopefully I will know. It's cutting in and out. Oh, shoot. I don't know what's going on. Okay, well, I'll hope for the best here. All right, so for my card this week, I decided to use, now the dog's getting in on the moaning and groaning of life. I decided to use the Magnolia Mood bundle. One of the dies is missing here because I'm using it, but it is an online exclusive. It is not one of the new online exclusives that was just released, but it is one that was released in the last release, I believe. I've had it, I think, in one of my lives. So I was trying to get inspired with some of the new online exclusives, and I think I'm just not, well, I didn't buy very many of them, so I'm limited in that sense, but I also just feel like I'm not quite to Christmas yet. I am trying to plan. I was going to do Christmas in July, but it's just not working, so it'll be Christmas in August. So I will put that out. But for today, this is what inspired me. And what started with my inspiration was highlighting technique. And so I came up with 3 different ways to kind of do the highlighting technique. So we're going to do that all with the Magnolia Mood. And I really apologize for this crazy flashes. I don't know what you guys are seeing. Hopefully it's just a quick flash for you also. And I'm not totally losing you, but gotta love technology, right? Okay, so for my highlighting, I had to find some shapes to do the highlighting with. So my first shape, I used the rectangle from the Everyday Details dies, It was one that was in our mini catalog that retired, but I believe they're still available. They're either available in the online exclusives or the annual catalog. I can't remember where, but they are still for sure available. I checked because I don't want to steer you wrong. And then I've got to do some color on. So I never have enough room here. You know, like you only have on your table that's reachable. I put stuff behind me. So I've got my grip mat here that I absolutely love. It's not a Stampin' Up! Product. And then I'm gonna line up my paper. I'm gonna try and center it just using the light. And then I'm gonna stick it all down onto the grip mat. So my stencil, my paper is held down and then my stencil is held down. So I don't really have to hold it and worry about it shifting as I go, which is what I love. And then ink. And I've showed you, it works really well to put the stamp pad on here, but because I have these silly stickers, the stickers come off. So I can't really use it that way. Sometimes I'll put it like just on the corner so that it doesn't kind of get away from me, but it doesn't pull off the stickers. So many, you find tricks and ways to make things easier, but then just right. But that's okay. Okay, so I've got some, I'm gonna go a little bit lower with the pink because the darker purple is going to hide it anyways. So then I'm gonna use Blackberry Bliss, which is a rich, just got on my fingers, which we don't want to get all over everything. Okay, it looks like we're still on the go, so hopefully we're still recording. Hopefully it's okay for everyone. Let me know if it's really bad. Maybe I have to restart it, but it's looking okay for now. I've been watching constantly as it's hard when you're trying to craft and okay, so I've got my purple, my pink, and then I'm going to put some gray. I'm going to use Smoky Slate here. It's probably good to wipe your stencil because so I made my stencils not just, I was going to use masking paper, and then I thought because I had to make this more than once, like I had to make my original and then again for this live, I made it on some U-Bow paper, which it's like you're getting different colors on your brush. So just be aware of that and maybe wipe your brush, or you can getting crazy colors. So I could just wipe it here, but I'm just gonna run it under the sink since I'm not using it again. So I'm just pulling the stencil off. You can see my paper is still stuck down, thankfully. Isn't that pretty? And I love how the dots kind of get put into there. It's just a nice little added bonus. So then stamp my Magnolia onto it. And this is kind of like the spotlight. It's a little bit large to spotlight. My other ones are a bit smaller, but I just liked the rectangle and the dots. You shouldn't peel it like that because then it curls. If you peel it carefully, it doesn't curl. So I'm going to line this up here. I've got another grip mat in my Misty. If you have a you call it? The old stamper, what Stampin' Up! Used to have. If you have one, it works the same. I actually went to get a grip mat for my Stamparatus because they had 6x6 grip mats, and then I couldn't find them by the time I went to buy one, and so I started all over again. Okay, so then for this, rather than just stamping it like with a black, which I will do in a different one, I'm going to use my Versamark, and I'm going to, the nice thing, the whole reason I put it in here is because, oops, powder, and because I just put all this ink on, it's probably wet since I didn't let it dry, so it's extra helpful to add that powder. And then with having a tool, a repositioning tool, you can stamp down, and you can put Versamark multiple times and it'll be in the same spot so that you know for sure that you got a good coverage. Especially this stamp is fairly detailed and fine, so I want to make sure that it's got a good amount. I take my silver embossing powder, that I didn't clean up from the last time. You don't want to do it on the grip mat because the grip mats, they're just photopolymer material, like your stamp material, the clear stamps. So they're easy to clean and they last. They stay sticky forever, just like your stamps. So it's a great, I hope Stampin' Up! Comes out with one because they're awesome. I keep meaning to put it in their suggestion box, and I haven't done it yet. So you can see I've got good cut. I have a little bit of extra. I'm just gonna brush that off. And I feel like maybe I missed this leaf here. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Then we will move this out of the way. Let's take two hands. Don't want to spill that everywhere. Okay, and we'll heat up the heat tool here. Oh, so it's just glitching a little bit. Something that I don't. Are we having internet issues that I... What is going on? Well, just hopefully it records to the end and it's not too glitchy. And hopefully we can get it fixed before my next live. There we go. Silver Magnolia. It's got a nice shine. Oh, now I'm getting the live video is gone. Hopefully it is still recording. It still shows up, so I'm hoping that it's still okay. So then I'm going to go back to my Misty or Magnolia off. And I didn't clean it because I'm going to be using it again, in case you were wondering. Then I'm going to put my, I hate that I pulled it like that. It's just, I'll glue it down. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment right on to and I've tested this the last time I did it, because sometimes when you have a rubber stamp, just like the way your sticker is, isn't necessarily mean that your stamp is straight. You can kind of use these lines to see, or you can put a piece of acetate and stamp on the acetate to see if that's how you want it. But since I've already done this, I'm pretty sure it's good. It seemed to line up the last time, so we'll go with that just for the sake of time. Now my original one I did with Blackberry Bliss, but I think I want to do it in black. I don't know. It's just a little off to me. So let's try with the black. Now I find with these kind of delicate writing sentiment, I pushed a little too hard, because it squishes it. So it's nice when you have a tool that you can go several times. You can just go lightly over and over until you have the darkness that you want, but not necessarily have to press hard. But you know, a little too strong for my own good. Pushed a little too hard there. But that's okay, because I have a little bit darkness on the H and a little bit darkness on the Y. So, you know, it all worked out in the end. Okay, I just have to make sure not to smudge it when I put it together. Actually, I won't put it together. I'm just going to show you it's gluing it. So I mounted it onto a Blackberry Bliss and then onto a piece of thick white cardstock for the happy birthday. So that's the first. And okay, the next one is, it turned out pretty cool, but I'm going to change it up on you guys and you will see why when I show you. So originally I wanted to do a highlight with an emboss, but this bundle does not have an embossing folder. It only has dies. But for those of you who have watched my videos, you might have seen me emboss with dies. If you have Stampin' Up! Doesn't have it available anymore, but I'm pretty sure you can get it on Amazon or on other die cutting machines. And you just have to play with the sandwich that you need to work with whatever die machine you have. So it's still doable. It's just Stampin' Up! Isn't selling the mats anymore, but I still use the old mat, which was, I think it was made for our old machine. So it does work on any machine. You just, like I said, you have to figure out the sandwich that works the best. But then I feel embossing folder. So instead of doing the original one, I'm going to show you what it looks like with the embossing folder. So this is my next stencil that I did with the deckled circle dies. And then I've got a piece of white. Yeah, so I was going to show you using it's a really thin silicone. You can see I made some mistakes when I first started using this thing. It's super thin. And then I used this die that's part of the bundle. And it's got its own, it's by Sizzix. So this is from the old machine. It's got perfectly in the same sandwich in our newer machine. So if you've got the old one and you've got the new machine or the old machine, it all works the same. So I'm gonna stick that down, and I have a little bit of wiggle room here. I'm gonna try and center it again, top and bottom, but it's enough to hold it. And again, I'm gonna start with the lightest to darkest, so I'm not transferring ink into, I don't want purple in my nice soft seafoam. That would not be good. So Now you can do this. You don't have to have multicolored to do the spotlighting. You could do all one color. I actually tried to do, you could do like this and then add a stencil, or just use stencil to have like a more textured background. But just be forewarned, adding that texture, what you're trying to highlight. So I found it didn't give me the results I wanted, but it just depends what you're using and whatever. So then I'm going to use Petunia Pop, which is one of our new, it's one of our new ink colors, right? I think so. Ink color. Okay. And sometimes it looks like it's kind of not super smooth, but what I find is when it dries, it really kind of smooths out. And if you go over it, you can smooth it out as well. But yeah, when it dries, it really smooths out, I find. So don't worry too much if you can see like some brush strokes or whatever. I really think that they kind of disappear as it dries. So then I've got Gorgeous Grape. I'm just gonna, so I saw this somebody else take a paper, you don't need a full paper towel roll. I just happened to start this one, and you can kind of rub off, because I had used this for Blackberry Bliss, which is a very different purple than the Gorgeous Grape. So I'm just gonna kind of rub off most of it, like the majority of it. So then Gorgeous Grape. You know, you can't really, I mean, you could, but the reality of having a brush for every single color is crazy to me. So I've kind of wash them fairly regularly, because when you'd get a dark and then you tried to go to a light, it was hard. So I ended up doing light and dark of each of the colors, because we have quite a few colors that go super light and then super dark. So that way it prevents me from wash them all the time or wipe them off. So then we've got this beautiful circle. You know me and stencils and the ta-das. And then, okay, should I show you? I'm going to do the embossed on here, and then I'll show you what it looked like with the embossed die. Like, it's really sticky. I actually had an oops yesterday. I was trying to use some foil and it fell onto my grip mat, and the foil just pulled on. I just wiped it with a cloth and water, and it's right back to being nice and sticky again. So yeah. And then I gotta get my embossing folder, wherever I put it. It's hiding here. There we go. So I don't know how old this is. That long? I mean, it's in the black, like it's not a green. I can't remember what year we switched to the black, but anyways, it's not available anymore, unfortunately. But if you have it in your stash, you could use it with this Magnolia set. And then you just want to kind of choose, like, do I want the big flower kind of highlighted, little flower coming off the edge like that, maybe? Or do I want the green on the bottom, so it's more with the leaves? Let's see. Okay. And then, so you can see that I have this sideways in the folder. It opens at the bottom there. So in order to run it through with my cardstock hanging out, I'm going to put it in sideways, because you know that you don't want to put the spine in backwards, because that's how you break it. But you can run it sideways. It fits. and it won't hurt the spine. So for this, we just got my folder and then the gray top with the platform, and that should be good. And then we'll see what kind of beautiful, so you can see, I don't know if you can see that in the video, I think so, that the Magnolia is highlighted but as an embossed image. Now, I think I actually like, I don't know, you guys have to tell me. Okay, so this is the embossed image that I did with the die, but what I did was I inked up the die before I ran it through because I found it was too subtle to pop otherwise. And so, I mean, it did, at one point it moved a little, so it did make a bit. It's a little bit messy and it's not perfect, you know, like I have some, it's really hard to do it kind of twice because then like to set it down in that exact same spot, it locks in, but it has to move around to lock in, but it's already inked up. We're still glitching here. That part's a little bit more difficult, but let me finish this one and then you can really decide which, which is the better way to go. Okay, so I've got a soft seafoam black and I cut out the sentiments using the, what do you call them? Wanted to Say dies, where they have the shadow and the writing. So that's that. I can't remember. I think this would be 4 by 5 1/4. So we need to go just under that. Oh wait, we're not even at 4. My lighting very well. Oh, it's really glitching now. Frustrating. So frustrating. Technology. I don't like technology. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Okay, so we should be at 3 7/8 about. And then this way we should be at 5 1/8. But right now, oh my goodness, this is like 5 3/4. What was I measuring? Craziness. Okay, well, let's take that off. Now we're at, okay, and then we want 5 1/8, right? Yes, so we can take 1/8 off of the bottom here. Should be good. Let's see. There we go. Doing our summer math. Okay. I wish it was, it's popped quite, it's almost like the highlighting makes it pop less, if that makes any sense. I don't know. It's kind of strange to me. What does it look like to you guys? Does it look like it's less visible on the colored part? Or more visible? Like better. It's also, I reversed the colors too, so that doesn't help matters. But I didn't keep it equally the same. It's the same, but it's not the same. Okay, so then you might notice that I've cut 3 of these backgrounds, and the reason I did that is rather than using dimensionals, I just glue these together and it creates, 3 is almost the same, I would say. It's just slightly less than a dimensional. You could do adds that dimension that you might want to have. And then it's like solid dimension, so it's not, you know, you're not fiddling trying to cut teeny tiny pieces to fit like the C where it's not as prominent. Oh, I gotta make sure I pop out. Usually these come out when you have adhesive on there, but they it decided to stick to my letter here. Okay, there we go. All right. And we'll take the 1, line up the E, and then we can put the C down easier. And you just kind of go along. Woo! Try not to tear it. There we go. And then you would glue these together, which I'm not gonna. Actually, that's kind of pretty. What do you think? What's the consensus? Uh-oh. I think I might have frozen up. Hopefully it's still going. Let's see. It was showing me on here until now. I hope that doesn't mean I lost it. Oh, it looks like it's... Oh, there we go. I can see it again at least. All right, let me know if you're watching the replay, if it hasn't glitched, which one you like better. It's kind of hard to see in the video. But okay, the third one we have is a really cute one, actually. This turned out to be my favorite, which is probably why I left it for last. So for this one, I cut out a nice scalloped edge, and that is from the Wildflower Designs dies, which is in the annual catalog. So if you cut with this scalloped one, it'll cut an inside shape, and then it'll give you a frame, which is we're going to use. So which is kind of cool. So then I got my white sheet here. I'll pull out our, and again, I'm just going to try and line up my paper so that it's kind of in the middle. And then we're going to use, what are we using here? We're using Peach Pie, Petal Pink, and Prettiers. So we will start with the Petal Pink, seeing as it's, and my light pink I used with the Pretty in Pink, which is quite a little bit darker. So we're just going to wipe it off on our paper towel, and we'll do the same. We'll come in and so if it is a lighter color, you probably want to come lower down than where you want it to end. So when you go over it with the next darker color, it'll blend and kind of color into that. Then we're going to use Peach Pie. Where did I put my... And you can see I got a bit of the Pretty Peacock. Let's do it. I'm just going to try it on there. I don't see any. Should be okay. So come in with the Peach Pie. And I tapped it onto the paper there. That's okay. There we go. And then Pretty Peacock. I love Pretty Peacock. I don't know. I'm so glad it's back as a color. Love this color combo. I don't know if it's like, because it's kind of beachy, summery. I don't know. I just really like these colors. So I think this is how I got the peacock on, because I just kind of wanted to blend the orange, the peach with that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love those. You'll have to let me know what your favorite color combo is. But I think this is up there, definitely. All right, then. So if you pull up the whole thing and then just kind of pull it, it doesn't curl because you're kind of pulling it straight off, which is better. The better way to do it, unlike the way I did it the last. This one I'm going to stamp the Magnolia directly on with black ink, which is kind of your traditional way, I guess, if you're doing the highlight technique. So I don't need the happy birthday anymore. I need to find the stamp set. There. Wipe off the Versamark, so I have to be careful, but at least it's clear, so it's not the end of the world if it's... And then just kind of position it in the middle. It's sticking to me. Okay, and then we're going to use Memento. You could use any black. Since you're not coloring it, it won't react to anything. I just like Memento because it's easy to wipe off. So again, I want to keep the ignition. So I don't want to, like, you know, really, if it's a photopolymer stamp, obviously you'd have to push a lot harder, but this with the foam, you know, it gets quite dark. So to me, that's a good, looks good to me. I'm going to go with that. Out of here. I'll set this aside. Isn't that pretty? I just think it's so pretty. Okay. Hello, Yolande. See, I came on early, but you missed it. All right. So then I'm going to take my frame and so this already kind of spotlights it, but I think because it's larger maybe then just like really pops it, I think. What do you think? With, out, or with? I think with. What do you think? While I'm waiting for that, I will take my sentiment. Find it. Okay, so, excuse me, I've learned a few things playing with, I've played with this before. It's the Thoughtful Moments dies, where it's the hybrid embossing folder and dies. And the first time I did this, I did the hybrid embossing folder, put it on. And it just doesn't get quite as deep of an impression when you do both, because the dye, you know, it sinks in, but it takes away a little bit. So because I wanted to brayer over top of the letters, I find if you emboss once without the dyes, then you can put the dye on as it's an embossing folder. You probably already know this, but so, you know, it just fits in like a piece of puzzle, and then run it through so it cuts out all your words. And then I've left this on here because when I brayer, then I have the raised edge to keep it raised. So I'm hoping it'll give me the best black on white that I can possibly get. And I'm, rather than kind of doing this, but either way, I'm going to use my brayer. So it'll still get all over, but it's hard. And I'm hoping, cross your fingers, I'm going to be very gentle. And I'm just going to go over it a bunch of times. Don't mind the squeak of the brayer. Oh my goodness, Aspen is just moaning and groaning today. I don't know if you guys can hear her. Okay, and then you have to somehow get it out without getting the ink everywhere. Oh, and then you can just run this under. Oh, it's got a bit of black, you can't really tell. So I'm going to glue this down. If I can get the glue started. I don't want to put a lot of glue on here because there are these lines and it will kind of pop through if you put too much glue. So just kind of bare minimum. It's probably more than the bare minimum, but and just line it up to the colored, oops. Ah! My dexterity stays. I'll blame it on my messed up neck. I don't know. Okay. Good enough. We've got that, and then we're going to pop this up. So you could cut out a bunch of these again, but rather than doing all of that, I'm just going to show you the finished one. So I cut down the white piece and I added a piece of petal pink, which matches the pink, and then a piece of black cardstock on the background. And then voila, you've got a pretty highlighted card. So the three highlights, again, are similar stamped, right? But it's just stamped with a colored background and then a stamped sentiment. And then we've got the embossed version. Yolande, maybe you can weigh in on this one. I think the original one, I used a die to emboss, and I inked the die with black, which it got a little bit messy, but it's not too bad. So it pops, and then I found that I had a passing folder, so I just embossed it. But in some ways I feel like maybe it's the darker purple. I feel like it might even get lost more than it pops. Like the whole point is to highlight. So I'm not sure which is better in this scenario, but these are the three kind of ways to highlight your stuff. So you can use it with embossing folders or with stamps and have fun with it. So hopefully you guys go and create some fun. I'm seeing I'm cutting out again, but it's back. You like both scenarios. Okay, there you go. Well, so now we have 4. We have 4 ways to highlight stuff. I wonder if it was like one color, if it'd be better. I'll have to play with it. that's the thing. Playing and kind of figuring out what works best is the best way to do things. So anyways, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week. I do not think there will be a live next Wednesday, but I will post and just say if I'm on or not. Otherwise, hopefully you have a great couple weeks, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye.